So what is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel once again. I appreciate having you here. Stick around for today's video. You join me on my commute. Now I've moved out into the countryside, I commute on roads like this. I have the option of motorways, A roads and little B roads, so I can do better tests when I get bikes, because my normal commute was only 4 miles. Now it's 22 to 25 miles each way, depending on which way I go. So join me on this one, because it's all about this, the little Honda CB125F. What's a CB125F, I hear you ask? I know, I never knew about it either. This is Honda's 125 unsung hero, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that after the titles. Thanks for sticking around. Yeah, this is now my commute. This is now my playground. What a way to get to work. I'm not actually going to work at the moment. What I'm going to do is go down to Box Hill so we can do the walk round. But I'm going to take you on my little glorious back route journey that I go to work. Well, it's the middle bit. It's not fully to work. It's probably another 7 miles at the other end of this and a couple of miles on the front of it that you don't see. But this is the nice bit. So anyway, back to this little bike. Let's get on with the riding. And I've got to be honest with you, I've had this bike for over a week now, so I've got a little bit of knowledge on it, as in how I feel about it, how I get on with it and stuff like that. But before we get into that, oh, it's glorious, let me tell you a little bit about myself. If you're here for the reviews and you've never been here before, thank you, welcome aboard. I am 6'2", wide in the shoulders, long in the leg, now just over 17 stone, 17.1 stones. We are losing weight, people. We are getting healthy this year, and it's simply by eating normally. No snacking and no alcohol in the house. Quite simple, really. And I go out and walk more. But that's not why you're here. You don't care about my weight. You want to know about this, the CB125F. So what I'm going to do on this little journey is I'm going to tell you about the ergonomics, what I feel about it, the suspension, the engine, everything I can think about I shall tell you on the journey down to Box Hill, and then we'll have a walk round and you get a little bit more of an in-depth view. Right, ergonomics, let's get on with it. It's alright, it's not too bad actually. Bars are a nice width, they're quite slim, so it makes it very, very good for commuting. The seat is quite comfortable. It hasn't got enough padding for me, but that's because I'm a big lump and heavy lump. If you are smaller, lighter than me, you'll probably find no problems with it whatsoever. You have got a little bit of wiggle room, and being tall, I can actually sit on the back seat. But I wouldn't recommend that for everyone, and I don't actually. On some bikes of small nature, I tend to shuffle back if it's got a bench seat and sit on the back, but this, I sit where I'm supposed to. The bars to pegs to seat ratio is actually pretty good for me. As I said, I've got long legs and I've got long thighs, so my thighs sit on the ridge of the tank, but because the tank is quite slim, it doesn't dig into the inside of my legs, so that's nice. How cool was that? Donkey towing a person, towing a dog. Right up front, mirrors, they're okay. You can see quite a bit behind you. My elbow comes up to about here, so you've got this little bit view behind you. Because the bars are not that wide, if you are wide in the shoulder like myself, it means you don't get a great view of the road behind, but it's not the end of the world. You can put mirror extensions on, and being a 125, you've got to keep an eye on the mirrors because people do catch you up. Front fairing does absolutely nothing. It's only there to keep the clocks clean. I mean, I say it does nothing. It breaks it up enough that you don't get any buffeting whatsoever. It's just a pure air. So it's essentially a naked bike. I wouldn't call this a fairing, I'll just call it a clock protection system. It's actually quite a comfortable place to be. The suspension on it is soft, but it's not so soft that it bounces you all over the place. I think it's got a little bit of adjustment. We'll have a look when we walk round, but not too much. Obviously the springs will not be designed for someone like myself. Although the way I like to look at it is my weight is probably 2 people on this bike that is designed for. So you get an idea of how the suspension is going to handle if you're very, very light and you've got a light passenger. Oh, I'm full of useless information. As you can see, we can keep up with the traffic, no problems on these 40 miles an hour roads. And on this commute, There's a few villages that we go through that are 30 miles an hour, so this is no problem. The fastest road I have on my commute is 50 miles an hour, and this does it no problem whatsoever. I should come onto the engine in a minute, but I can sit at 50 miles an hour on this all day long. Actually, let's just go onto the engine. Let's skip and go straight to the engine. I'll do the brakes in a minute. The engine is a 125-ish, I'm not sure of the actual CC. If you want to know the full specifications for this, the actual specifications, I'll drop that downstairs in the descriptions box, along with Doble's Motorcycles website as well, so you can check that out. It is air cooled, no liquid cooling on this beast, so it does hark back. This is proper old school biking here, people. Air cooled 125, and I've got to say, it does feel a little bit laboured. My Super Cub seems like a drag bike compared to this. I don't know why, maybe it's the gearing. The Super Cub has 4 gears, this has 5 gears. But what you can do with this is you can carry corner speed. You can go into the corners, I wouldn't say flat out everywhere, but a lot of this journey you can go quite on the throttle, and you can just roll around the corners. And it is so much fun. So you can keep it on the gas round the bends and just use momentum, and as long as you get your momentum through the bends, it's fine. But acceleration 0 to 60, you'll be lucky. Look at this, people. This is my commute. I'm blessed. I am absolutely blessed I found this route. I mean, it does help that it's a beautiful sunny day. That makes such a difference. When it's peeing down with road and I'm coming down here, I don't get that same glorious feeling. When it's icy, when there's a little bit of snow, again, not the glorious feeling. But at the moment, it's about 6 degrees, sun shining. We're on a little motorcycle, we are having fun. Right, the braking on this bike, it's not going to win any awards, let me tell you that now. It's not ABS, it's the minimum they can get away with. It's a disc on the front and it's a drum on the back with combined braking. So when you apply a little bit of the back brake, I think the front brake comes on, or front brings the back brake on. I don't know, read the bumps downstairs. I've been riding it for over a week. We've done a few hundred miles on it and I still haven't figured out which does what. I mean, I could have done my research, but again, if you're new to this channel, I don't do research often, but if you're not, you know where I'm coming from. But what I have found out is it's not very good. The back especially. The back might as well be ABS, because you have to put a lot of pressure on it just to lock it up. There's nothing behind me. Let's see if I can just pull the clutch in, roll, and then lock it up a little bit. It's a bit slippery, so it should do. Yeah, it took quite a bit of effort on that back brake. Now it is slippery today, so I'm not going to fully test this front brake. I have tested it in the fact that people have pulled out over the past week, and it does the job. It stops you. It's a little bit wooden, but it's a little 125. It's a cheap thing. Oh, I haven't even covered the price yet, have I? I think this retails, again, check downstairs or check Doble's website, but it retails around £2,800. This fresh out the box transport for £2,800. That's quite astonishing. So if you do need cheap transport and you've got a license, you don't even need a full license. You can have a CBT for this, stick some L plates on it, and for £2,800, brand new out the box. And of course you can get deals on that, HP, PCP. I'm not trying to sell it, I'm just saying in the context of cheap vehiclisation, that you can get one of these for much cheaper than you can get a rail ticket. That's got to be a good thing. Right, we'll do a left here and head off to Box Hill. On my way to work, I go up that hill there, which is called Pebble Hill, which is quite steep. It goes over the downs, the South Downs, and that's the only place on this trip that this bike struggles, is on the top of that hill. I mean, it'll still do 35 when I drop it down into third, so it's not the end of the world. It's not as if I'm crawling or walking, but that's the only bit. So for literally 30 seconds of my journey, this bike is underpowered. There's a little bit of vibration because it's a single cylinder, but it's not the end of the world. You kind of get that on all single cylinder 125s. You get this really high vibration. I get it on my Super Cub, and when I do long journeys, you can tend to notice it a little bit, but it does take well over an hour to get to that point where it gets annoying. Right, so before we get to the walk round, let's get on to the crux of this. Why this bike is fantastic, or why I think it's fantastic. I'm getting ahead of myself here. I haven't even come to the conclusion yet, but I'm telling you now, it's the mileage, the miles per gallon, that figure. It's got a biggish tank for a 125. Again, descriptions downstairs, or I'll put it in the walk round. All the information when I do the walk round, I put it on the screen as I do it there. But here's the killer. They claim 188 miles to the gallon. I know, get up off the floor. 188 miles to the gallon. Think about that for a second. That's insane. I don't get that, but that's what they claim. I'll tell you what I get in a minute. So in theory, they say this bike will do over 400 miles, 400 to 450 miles to a tank. I think that's cheaper than electric. Don't quote me on that, I'm just saying. It's just the premium you pay for an electric bike. You could fill this up probably for 10 years. I'm just saying, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not dissing electric. I will have some electric bikes coming on the channel very, very soon. Some special stuff. But I'm just saying, if you want cheap, one more cheap transport, I don't think you could beat this. Unless you go on the motorway. Then you're going to fear for your life. After the walk round, before the conclusion, I'll take it down a little country lane. It is drying up now. The ice seems to have lifted from the road. It was -2 this morning, but we're now up around 5-6 degrees, so hopefully that's melted all the stuff under the trees, so I can take this down a country lane, like a little bouncy one. If you've been on my reviews before, you'll see it. You know which one I'm talking about. It tests the suspension up really well, so we can have a little look of how it handles on those places basically where it probably is not going to live. Right, let's take you up the rear and give you a walk round. Right, so here we are, Box Hill car park. Look at that, that's the sun, people. That is the sun. We haven't seen that for a while. It's beautiful. I'm actually warming up quite nicely. A little bit too hot, to be honest. But here we have the CB125F, Honda's unsung hero. She's not a bad looking bike, I've got to say. I like it in this red. It's kind of a candy red. I think I'm pushing it there, but a metallic red. Let's just say it's a metallic red. It comes in this red, I think a black and a white. Let me know what you think of the looks of the bike downstairs. I say it's an unsung heroes because Honda have got the monkey bike, the Grom, the Super Cub, the CB125R and the scooters, etc., and they kind of get all the headlines, whereas this one flies well under the radar. But it's a proper little motorcycle. Right, so let's have a little run through and look at some of the stuff on this bike. We'll start at the wheels and then work our way around. Right, on the front, 118 tyre on an 18-inch rim, obviously. The make of the tyres are, I have no idea. It's got a little logo down there, but they're cheap. They do the job in the dry, but in the wet, obviously don't carry too much corner speed and you're all right. Single disc on the front, Nissan caliper, non-ABS. Forks are normal forks, non-adjustable. Just forks basically. They hold the front wheel on and help you steer. This front mudguard is nice in the fact that it comes all the way down there with a little lip to stop all the crap going on your engine there, and there's been a lot of crap out today. Engine wise, single cylinder, air cooled. Not really much more I can say about that. It has got this ESP on the side which says enhanced smart power. What's smart and what's enhanced about it, I have no idea. Evidently, no, I do have a little idea, because someone told me the other day there's something to do with all the friction stuff inside the engine. It makes it run leaner and smoother and something like that. Anyway, it was a bloke in the pub, so don't take his word for it. Down here, just a rubber foot peg on a metal thing, non-folding, so if you do corner too low, that's going to dig in. Brake here is on this big girder type thing, and it works to an extent. It slows you down. You can lock it up if you stand right on it, but I kind of don't want a snatchy back brake on a bike with no ABS, especially with these skinny tyres. So all in all, it probably does a perfect job. I haven't had any problems. On the back here we go, a foot peg, and it folds up. All the mod cons. Suspension is twin-sided, so one on each side. Obviously, you don't need telling what twins mean. A little bit of adjustment at the bottom there, and as you can see in there, we've got a drum brake. Not the end of the world. As I said, it stops you, and yeah, that's about all I can say on that. It's got a little kind of exhaust that you can't hear. Very quiet, very silent. Nice for sneaking out early hours of the morning. As you can tell, I'm struggling to tell you the features on this bike, because to tell you the truth, it doesn't have many. Not many electric gizmos, apart from the ignition and the headlights and the clocks. All the rest is just straightforward, back to basic biking. Down this side, gears, it's 5-speed box. Again, another peg that doesn't fold up. Again on the back, one that does. Why does a passenger get a fold up peg and this person doesn't? So tyre size on the back is 90-90-18. It's chain driven. That's that down there, in case you're wondering. It's not shaft at this price. And oh, I'll tell you what it does come with. It comes with a side stand and the main stand. You don't have to pay extra. On my Africa Twin, for over £13,000, I have to pay for my centre stand. But on this, 2.8, you get a free centre stand. Not bad. If you're wondering what this is, I've wired my heated gloves up because I've been commuting on it, so it hasn't got heated grips, so I want to keep warm. Lights on the front, I think they're LED. They look like LEDs in the middle. I think the two indicators that stay on, as in running lights, I think they're bulbs, but I'm pretty sure the lights are LEDs on the front. Again, check downstairs in the descriptions for all of that malarkey. On the back here, again, is that LED? That looks like a bulb. That's a bulb, and indicators are bulbed as well. Exciting, isn't it? Not really. Quick run through of what we got up front. You've got a clutch which is nice and light. It really is light. And then you've got your hooter here, or your horn, indicators, and then on the back this is your flasher, and if you want your full beams, just flick that out. Over this side you've got a throttle, you've got a brake which is non-adjustable, that's your front brake, and you've got a starter here. I'll show you this in a minute. This I find quite interesting. I know I don't get out much, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. And here, this is my little cruise control gizmo. It doesn't come with the bike. It's just if you're doing a long journey where you're sitting at that 40-50 miles an hour, flick that on, and it's a little bit of a throttle lock. Don't recommend them for everyone, but it kind of works on a 125. Right, dash start up. Excuse my little buff in there, just to clean the visor as I'm going along, because it's got no screen. Right, there you go. You've got a select button here and a set button there. Right, so quick run through the dash. Left indicator, right indicator, neutral, engine management, full beam light. Here you've got your fuel gauge, you've got your miles per hour, clock, gear indicator, and your little gizmos up here, which goes through this set button here. And if you look at that, I am averaging 139.7 miles per gallon. That's with someone 17 stone and over on. Not bad at all. That's my range left, 132. So that's there. We've got 3 bars left on that, and I've still got 132 miles left in the tank. So I'll fill it up when I've got it. I've done 190 miles so far, and I've got 132 miles left in the tank. So that's 322 miles. Right, so that's about it really for the walk round. Can't think of anything else. I don't really want to take the seat off because it took me ages to tuck all these wires in, because it's kind of ad hoc. So when I take the seat off, all the wires come out. So there are videos out there you can see under there. It's basically not a lot of room under there. You can keep some stuff under there, but it's very exposed to the elements, as in water can come up under here and get into all your stuff. So you might get a little sandwich tin, put your stuff in that, and it'll be all right. There are little slots that you can put your stuff in, but I won't put anything valuable in there, let's put it that way. But what I wanted to show you was this starter motor. And I say starter motor, I don't think it actually uses a starter motor. It's probably got a special name, but it actually seems to draw nothing from anywhere. It just starts, and silently. You ready? So that's on. Tap it and it starts, but there's no starter motor. It just starts. I think there's little elves in the engine that just crank it over silently while you press that button. I think that's what happens. They won't tell you that, but that's definitely what happens. It's elf magic. The boys are here. Where are they? Let's go and find them. I could have gone off-roading. Let's go and sneak up on them. That's Hippodrome's bike. That's Phil 480's, formerly Pez's. Let's go and say hello. Are you Hippodromes?
I am. Hello.
You alright, Phil? Here they are. I've invaded. Oh, there you go. That was good to catch up. They're having fun off-road. Pete's got 2 punches, I think, or he thinks, and Phil's only fallen off 3 times today. So, all in all, good day out. We're going to go up Zigzag Road, up the top of Box Hill, come round the back, and then down the country lane. Test the suspension and a little bit of the handling. See what we think of that on these skinny little 18-inch wheels with tyres made in someone's shed. It's lovely up here, glorious scenery. Hopefully not too many people to ruin the view. But we get up the top of the hill, have a little bit of fun, and as I said, I'll give you a little bit of conclusion. But for now, let's just enjoy this little bit. Nice. Oh dear. Well, that's icy then. Oh dear. It crashes nicely. Whew, yeah. Yeah, no injuries, mate. I'm a professional slider. Oh dear. Black ice, yeah. I don't know why I'm laughing. That's it, that's it. It's only a bike, isn't it? Oh dear. Woo! God dear. Black ice.
Yeah, it's really expensive, isn't it?
I think what I'll do is I'll go that way. Thanks for that. Cheers lads. Take it easy. Easier than I did. I don't know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't be. Oh dear. Right, let's assess the damage. Oh, not a lot there. That's worn down. That's a little bit. That's taken it. That's got a scratch. That's broken. What have we got down here? That's worn. That's gone through. A little bit on the exhaust. But considering, oh, I've ripped my jacket. Well, there you go. There's a first for everything. I told you it was icy out. I did not expect this to be icy at all. And do you know why? It's about 9 degrees. Anyway, now she's not starting. Right, come on, let's turn her off. Reboot, off and on again. Everything's in a line. I shall go down to the bottom. Keep it nice and simple for this bit. There you go. You don't get many crashes on reviews, do you? But you do on this one. So what's this crashability like? It's very good. As I said, not a lot of damage. My ribs are hurting a little bit, but apart from that, not too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to abandon the country lane thing. Oh, my ribs hurt. I don't know why I'm laughing, it makes them hurt even more. So we're going to abandon oh, stop laughing, you donut. Right, we're going to abandon that bit of it. I'll just go straight into the conclusion. Let's just go straight into the conclusion. I'm going to stick to the main roads on the way back. That way I can avoid the ice. That was a little bit unnerving because I wasn't expecting it, you see. It's just like I'm upright and then where's the bike gone? Oh, there it is, sliding in front of me. Right, so let's get on with the conclusion. Let's get the ergonomics out of the way. Ergonomics are pretty good. Bars to pegs to seat ratio, yeah, not too bad at all. Quite comfortable. I could ride this all day. As I said, I've been commuting on this, so an hour at a time is not a problem. Cockpit area, nice and plain, simple, easy to read. It's got all the information on there you need. Mirrors, okay, you can see behind you. They're quite indestructible. They didn't break, so that's very good. Not even the glass, fantastic. It's a very crashable bike. Engine-wise, very slow, very, very slow. I mean, in the scheme of things, you can get up to speed and you can do what you need to do on it as long as you stick within the realms of what the engine's designed for. It's just the acceleration is quite slow. You have to work the gearbox quite hard to get it up to, not fast speeds, but up to decent speeds, let's say. But it does the job, air-cooled, nice and cheap, easy to run. If you do your home maintenance, I'm sure it'll be pretty easy to work on. Handling, doesn't like ice. I don't know why, it doesn't like ice at all. That goes for me as well. I'm now not a big fan of ice, never have been, but it's now upped its scale in my disappointment level of riding motorcycles. I'll tell you what, it all just works so well. There's nothing it's done. A little bit of cosmetic damage, but nothing more than that. I don't think anyone will notice. We keep it between ourselves. No one watches these videos. Let's keep it on the down low. Let's keep it on the hush hush. It's just between us. Clutch is nice and light in traffic, really easy to use. Filter on this, no problem whatsoever. If you are commuting in traffic, it'll be a breeze, trust me, it'll be a breeze. I know that because I've been doing it all week. Tyres, I think I'd definitely change. I don't think it would have done a lot in that instant, to be honest. It was just black ice. I saw kind of the ice on the side of the road, but because of the temperature, I just didn't think, it didn't cross my mind that that bit would be that icy. Will I learn my lesson? Probably not. All in all, a bloody good little bike, I've got to say. It is Honda's unsung hero. It will do the commute perfectly well. And if you do want to do like a tour, a very, very slow tour, just using B roads and A roads, slow A roads that is, then this, doing nearly 400 miles to a tank, has got to be a good thing. Now, if you're wondering what this little green light is here, you can turn it off. It's a little eco light. If you ride with that on, or aim to keep that on as much as possible, it'll give you maximum fuel efficiency. So that's what that light is, in case you were wondering. It's not a shift light. It's definitely not a shift light on here. So there you go, the conclusion. I really like it. It's comfortable, it's basic, it's grassroots motorcycling, albeit quite slow. So yeah, I like it. I really do like it. Right, so the conclusion is, would I or would I not have one? I would have one for the sum of what it is. The commuter, the high mileage, the cheap, cheerful nature, its crashability. That's fantastic. I can vouch for that. It's brilliant. As a cheap package, journeyman transport, yeah, it's great. As a looker and to pose on and something I desire, no, I wouldn't. So I think that about sums it up. Anyway, we'll wrap it up. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to do all those things that you need to do. Also hit that notification bell so you guys can get the drop on these videos. Oh, my ribs are starting to hurt a little bit now. I'm getting old, you see. I'm getting old. My crashability is starting to fade. So that just leaves me to say, you know I love you all. Stay safe. Fish out.
Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead, get going. Get all your bags, get out my house. I don't want your stuff around. I never did you wrong, but you did me wrong. So go ahead and get going.